Well, let's start with the top story at this hour. The U.S. Federal Reserve has kept interest rates unchanged under new Chair Kevin Warsh, despite inflation remaining well above the central bank's 2% target. The decision has divided policymakers, rattled financial markets, and raised questions over how aggressively the Fed will act in the coming months. Now, the decision comes even as U.S. inflation remains at 3.5%, well above the Fed's 2% target, and global tensions in West Asia continue to push oil prices higher. While leaving rates unchanged, new Fed Chair Kevin Warsh struck a notably hawkish tone, insisting that the central bank remains fully committed to bringing inflation back under control. Warsh acknowledged that inflation has remained above target for more than 5 years, saying 1 month of improving data is not enough to declare victory. He also revealed there was intense debate inside the Federal Open Market Committee, describing discussions as a real family fight that reflected healthy disagreements over the path of monetary policy.
I asked for a good family fight and I got one. That's the purpose. That's the design feature. I come into this meeting, even this press conference, heartened by what I've experienced the last 2 days. Most of our discussion were on the big questions that matter to the conduct of monetary policy. There was nothing inertial about that discussion. It was an active, robust discussion about what's in the full range of what we can do and might want to do in the period ahead.
Warsh said those robust discussions were a strength, not a weakness, stressing that there was nothing inertial about the meeting and that policymakers actively debated the full range of options before reaching a decision. He also defended reducing the Fed's use of forward guidance, arguing that markets should focus more on economic fundamentals than on trying to predict every Fed move.
We have begun a new chapter, and we understand that the 5+ years of inflation above target cannot be cured in 9 weeks. Or by a single month of modest price decreases. This Fed will not waver. Our credibility rests on performing our duties and delivering on our responsibilities. Americans are right to expect that because our nation's prosperity depends on it.
Warsh reiterated that the committee remains focused on restoring price stability, saying that there would be not a whisper more than the Fed's 2% inflation target. He added that policymakers are looking beyond a single inflation gauge to better understand underlying price pressures across the economy before deciding their next move. Financial markets, however, were unconvinced. Wall Street reversed early gains with all 3 major U.S. indices closing more than 1.5% lower. Investors were concerned that the Fed's tough rhetoric was not matched by action. Asian markets opened mixed on Thursday, with Japan's Nikkei 225 leading gains in the region. Meanwhile, Brent crude oil surged nearly 8% overnight after escalating conflict in West Asia heightened fears over global energy supplies. The 30-year U.S. Treasury yield climbed to 5.22%, signaling investors remain skeptical that inflation can return to target without higher interest rates. Despite the market reaction, President Donald Trump backed his Fed chair.
Yeah, Kevin's fantastic, but he's got a board. Yeah, Kevin's got a board. He's fantastic. He's a brilliant guy, smart. I know he'd love to see lower interest rates, but he's got a board, and it's a political board, and they want to keep rates up. But we fight through rates. We have the strongest investment ever made in a country, of any country,